Okay, so most people, they want to live a relatively long, prosperous life, right? The average lifespan is just under 80 years. It's about 78 years is the average lifespan of a person. Now, we know that the longest living cultures are generally those who live along the seacoast. And what are some of the things that these longest living cultures have in common? I'll just run through kind of a short list of what they generally have in common and what aspects of their lifestyle might actually be contributing to their relatively long lifespan compared to other cultures. Firstly, they generally eat a lot of seafood, which seafood contains DHA, which is omega-3 fatty acids, which is incredibly important for not only your brain but also your cell membranes and your ability to gain energy through your metabolism in a healthy, sustainable way, instead of burning sugars all the time, which can produce a lot of oxidation. Oxidative stress leads to breakdowns of your cellular materials, just like rust breaks down the metals on a car. Another commonality between these longest living cultures on Earth are that they eat a lot of fresh vegetables. Not only fresh vegetables, but they tend to be local, in season, and they very likely also contribute to at least some of the gardening of their own food. So there's definitely a strong incentive there to do it right and not cut corners. Another very common experience of these longest living cultures is that they are exposed to a lot of sunlight outdoors. And by being exposed to a lot of sunlight, not only can they make high levels of vitamin D in their skin, but they can also create a lot of nitric oxide, or NO, which is a vasodilator that's important for your nervous system and your blood vessels. In addition to vitamin D and nitric oxide, gaining the energies from the rays of the sun also contributes to a higher efficiency level for your mitochondria through the actions of infrared light. Lastly, obviously you can gain a tan or darker skin by spending time outdoors underneath the sun's rays. And this tan is actually made out of a substance called melanin, melanin. And this melanin is actually able to store and capture the energy of our star, the sun. Many people aren't aware of this very interesting fact, but the molecule melanin has actually been discovered as being able to capture energy from the sun and convert it into an electrical current in the body. I'll actually paste some web links to these findings beneath the video, and I'll also put the list of these longest living cultures facts beneath the video. Another very important way of life that these long living cultures have is they exercise a lot. And obviously, if you want a healthy body, you need to keep moving and keep the circulatory system strong. Exercise is going to contribute to a healthier heart, higher lung capacity. It's going to keep your muscles toned up, and it's going to also contribute to good brain functioning and good nervous system functioning because of that extra circulation. Exercise gives your body a chance to balance out the metabolism. If you're sitting in a stasis situation, your body can't adapt. You know, it's like being able to balance a bicycle by keeping the bicycle moving forward. If you're not moving forward and having enough movements, you can't even really stay stabilized or adapt to new situations. So for instance, your acids could build up in the body, and you know, you could just have an increased level of carbon dioxide. So it's just like a bicycle, you know, you just need to keep moving forward and kind of maintaining an activity level high enough so that you can keep the body balanced metabolically. So these guys also tend to have strong social ties. They have a community atmosphere. Now, community, it honestly seems to be kind of a lost art in today's age, because, you know, for a lot of people, it's sort of rare to, you know, have meaningful moments with other people. And community has been shown over and over to be very, very health-inducing for people. There's just something about us being social creatures and connecting with other people that it has a good health effect. So this has positive emotional effects. People have a reduced rate of heart disease and mental disease, or just anxiety generally, when they spend even brief moments of time throughout the week with other people. The main dietary style, if you were to put a label on it, would be the Mediterranean diet. So they're going to be consuming, you know, sort of a paleo diet, just fresh foods, seafood, you know, it's sort of a high it's definitely going to be sort of a higher fat diet. You're going to have higher levels of complex carbs rather than simple sugars, and then you're going to have, you know, medium, adequate levels of protein without having too much or too little protein. And it's generally going to be fresher sources of protein like vegetables or nuts, rather than some less healthy forms of protein like corn-fed beef or pork and so on. They're going to be consuming things like olive oil, possibly eggs, bone broth, maybe with organ meats. They're going to be consuming usually probiotic-rich, fermented or cultured foods. Something like sauerkraut, which is cabbage that's been fermented, is actually highly nutritious. If you have cabbage, if you have fermented cabbage known as sauerkraut, that's going to feed your healthy bacteria in the stomach, as well as increase your testosterone level. So it has a couple of really good benefits there for you. So yeah, they're going to have high levels of healthy fats, like the fat you can get from seafood or avocados or eggs, walnuts, almonds, pistachios, and so you can see how these cultures are going to be having an entirely different metabolic profile. Their metabolism is just going to be burning in a completely different way. In fact, it's going to be burning so efficiently that it's not like an out of control wildfire from sugars or processed foods. It's going to be, you know, something more natural and just something that's more easily digestible. Something really nice about fresh vegetables and fermented or fermented foods or sprouted, soaked almonds, soaked nuts. All of these things what they have in common is it's more easily digestible and more supportive of healthy bacteria. Something that's harder to digest is generally going to stay around in your stomach for longer periods of time, more slowly digesting, and that can be one cause of having more unhealthy bacteria. Now, they even found with cows which are fed a corn-dominant diet, like just pretty much an entirely corn-based diet, which is very common in today's age, they have a higher level of E. coli bacteria in their stomach. It's actually very, very common for cows that you get beef out of to have a high level of E. coli growing within them. A lot of people don't know about that. Now, if you take a corn-fed cow and then you put them on a grass-based diet for a week, they will actually have a reduced level, they will have a 90% reduced level of E. coli within 1 week. So you can see how them switching to the easier digestible grass, which is like the natural diet for cows, that their gut bacteria improves its healthiness or its health status. So when we as human beings, as human animals, when we convert over to a diet that's more easily digestible, then we're going to have healthier gut bacteria. And scientists are finding that it's the healthy gut bacteria which is so incredibly important to the health of our cells. Healthy gut bacteria are actually an integral part of the immune system, because the healthy gut bacteria are going to compete for space for the unhealthy bacteria or the viruses, which could come in and infect us. And we don't want to take the risk of becoming infected with these foreign bodies when we have the option of having the healthy gut bacteria and the easily digestible foods, the healthy fats, all these things that feed a healthy environment within the cell. So we have the environment outside, like these longest living cultures have near the coast of our oceans, and then they also, because of that, they produce a healthier environment within the body. Now, we may not live next to the ocean, but we can foster a healthy environment within by importing seafood and by eating these healthy foods. We can certainly grow fresh vegetables and maybe even some types of fresh fruits, depending on where you live. So the possibility is definitely within reach to improve the health of our years, and possibly even extend the years in our lifespan from the average American way of life. So it's absolutely within our reach to be healthier human beings. So yeah, I'm gonna leave a list below the video, as well as some links to that those interesting facts about the melanin, because I am personally highly interested in sort of those the electrical aspects of the human body. So anything where you're talking about using sunlight to increase your healthiness, or you're using easily digestible foods so that your electrical potentials are not hindered by having these thick mucus or just very material clogged up formations. You're not having those things block the biophotons that want to communicate based on light between your cells. So your cells are all they're able to communicate with light with one another. They do this all the time. It's called biophoton emissions, and this is a better way to communicate within the body than, say, having just the chemical messengers like insulin and all this, because you need both, but the light-based communication between your cells is going to be a million times more efficient, and having that reaction time up is going to make your body more adaptable, and this allows you to quickly fight off an infection before it begins, rather than having it take over the system. So when you can react quickly, it makes your body more dynamic and on its feet, and then you're able to be healthier by having that quick reaction time, having those electrical potentials up, having a high redox potential, so meaning a high voltage differential between the inside and outside of the cell. Across the cell membrane, there's a voltage difference called a redox potential, and this is highly important to your metabolism and your energy level. So to get that charged up, you need healthy mitochondria. I'm sure I'll be making some more videos about healthy mitochondria, because that's just integral for human health. So if you want to learn more, you can sign up for my email group. It's going to be at uhealingarts.com. That's the letter U, healingarts.com. Feel free to leave a comment below the video, I'd love to share some more tips and tricks and information with you. I've got over 30 notes of recommendations compiled for all the different organ systems and diseases, and basically anything you want to achieve, whether that be higher cognitive performance, or bigger, bulkier muscles, higher endurance level, get better sleep. You want clearer skin. We've got natural clay masks that you can put on your face and clear the skin up. We've got essential oils, water, air filters, essential oil diffusers. We've got just recommendations for the best kind of water. San Pellegrino water is an amazing brand. What do you do for healthy kids, healthy children if you're planning to have a baby? We have information for all of this. Like they recommend for you the folate, but like in India, they do all this, but then in India they also provide just a small amount of an extract of this natural herb called Bacopa monieri, and they prevent so much mental retardation in their country because this simple herb prevents it. And so this simple herb, Bacopa extract, is also very healthy for normal individuals, improving your memory within like a month, improving your mental processing within about a month. And additionally, you've got iodine, which is incredibly important for the developing brain and nervous system. A lot of people are deficient in that, and so while they're developing, their brain possibly doesn't develop as high as it possibly could. Lastly, you have DHA, or omega-3, and that's incredibly important for the developing brain. And so just even the smallest amounts of seafood, during, even if it's just the smallest amount of seafood once a week or once every couple weeks for the developing baby, it can make a world of difference for their nervous system and for their cellular membranes. So I work with a lot of college students and business professionals, basically just to supercharge your energy level and your cognitive performance and take you next level. And what I do is I track with you week to week or month to month, and we work with each other to figure out what your goals are in life. And the goal is become a superhero, become however supercharged you want, so then month to month or week to week I take the feedback from you. Okay, what did you implement so far? How is it working for you? And then I'll give you further recommendations, and so you can just continually keep leveling up. And so that's exactly the goal we have, is just to continue leveling up to higher levels so that you can fight against the natural entropy of aging. Because a young person thinks they're invincible. They think they're never going to get diabetes or Alzheimer's or joint pain. What can you do with joint pain? There's the Life Extension Foundation. They make a wonderful supplement called fast-acting joint formula. And it's got some enzymes in there and a few minerals and vitamins, and it's very effective at hydrating your joints, like your knees, so that you can prevent the joint pain in the body. So you've got enzymes, which are really important. Those are very underrated. Now for joints specifically, what the fluid in there it's called synovial fluid, okay, that cushions the discs in like your knees and your vertebrae and your spine. And this synovial fluid has a big active ingredient called hyaluronic acid. Now this hyaluronic acid is almost like an oil or something that would be in like the bearings of a wheel. And this hyaluronic acid has just a kind of a viscosity, kind of like an oil. And it's like a slippery type of molecular compound, which cushions your knees or your other joints. And so you have to build this up, with precursors, with molecules that your body can make this hyaluronic acid with. And so your fast-acting joint formula from the Life Extension Foundation is going to contain hyaluronic acid. It's going to contain certain molecules which are going to protect the joints in the body. So it's just little facts like these which can make a world of difference in someone's life. But prevention is the best, medicinal. It's the best medicinal therapy. Like, it's harder to reverse things once they've started. It is possible to reverse a lot of things these days, but if you don't know about it, then you're just depending on someone else to tell you about it. It's best to kind of keep on the bleeding edge, because you would do that with an iPhone. Most people know about the specs of their iPhone down to a T. They know what kind of processor, how much memory, what the screen size is, and then they're probably already looking at the next one, looking for when they're going to upgrade with their carrier. How much do you know about the human body? How much do you know about optimizing this machine? This is the most amazing machine in the cosmos. And it's up to you to really take the responsibility to take it next level. So, hit me up in the links in the comments below. Check out the links and the information I provide you. And I hope to provide you some additional information. It's definitely a passion. Cheers to optimization. Have a great afternoon or day or whatever it is in your time zone. Peace.